The average U.S. multinational does business with 6,000 small business owners.
And we'll leave the last few minutes of this and take you live to the U.S. House. They're gaveling in for legislative work. 3 bills coming up, including one to extend duty-free products in the U.S.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules and pass Con Res 67.
The clerk will report the title of the concurrent resolution.
House Concurrent Resolution 67, Concurrent Resolution authorizing the use of the Capitol grounds for the District of Columbia Special Olympics Law Enforcement Torch Run.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from California, Mr. Denham, and the gentlewoman from the District of Columbia, Ms. Norton, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on Con Res 67.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
House Concurrent Resolution 67 would authorize the use of the Capitol grounds for the District of Columbia Special Olympics Law Enforcement Torch Run that will be held on September 30th this year. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the gentlewoman from the District of Columbia and ranking member of the Subcommittee on Economic Development, Emergency Management, and Public Buildings for introducing this resolution. I'm pleased to be a co-sponsor. As in years past, the Torch Run will be launched from the West Terrace of the U.S. Capitol and continue through the Capitol grounds as part of the journey to the 26th Annual D.C. Special Olympics Summer Games. The Special Olympics is an international organization dedicated to enriching the lives of children and adults with disabilities through athletics and competition. The Law Enforcement Torch Run began in 1981 when the police chief of Wichita, Kansas saw an urgent need to raise funds for and increase awareness for the Special Olympics. The Torch Run was then quickly adopted by the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Today, the Torch Run is the largest grassroots effort that raises funds and awareness for the Special Olympics program. The event in D.C. is one of the many law enforcement torch runs throughout the country and across 35 nations. This year, about 50 different local and federal law enforcement agencies are participating in the day's events, and more than 1,500 law enforcement officials will be honoring the Special Olympics athletes by completing the 2-mile run. I urge my colleagues to support passage of this resolution, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from the District of Columbia.
Mr. Speaker, 2011 marks the 26th Annual Law Enforcement Torch Run to benefit the District of Columbia Special Olympics. The torch relay event is a traditional part of the opening ceremonies of the Special Olympics, which take place at Catholic University in the nation's capital in 2011. This event has become a popular event on Capitol Hill, and it is an integral part of the District of Columbia Special Olympics. The Torch Run participants will assemble at the U.S. Capitol building on the West Steps for opening ceremonies and then proceed to run or walk a 2-mile course to Fort McNair, also in the nation's capital. Each year, approximately 2,500 Special Olympians compete in over a dozen events, and more than 1 million children and adults with special needs participate in Special Olympics worldwide. The goal of the Games is to help bring mentally challenged individuals into the larger society under conditions where they will be accepted and respected. Confidence and self-esteem are the building blocks of the Special Olympic Games. The Special Olympics District of Columbia has been operating for 42 years, providing services to a wide swath of D.C. residents, and I'm pleased to support such a worthy organization and event. I urge the House to also support Concurrent Resolution 67, and I yield the balance of my time.
The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The question is, will the House suspend the rules and agree to House Concurrent Resolution 67? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the Chair, two-thirds being in the affirmative.
Mr. Speaker, I demand the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. All those in favor of taking this vote by the yeas and nays will rise and remain standing until counted. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question will be postponed. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess for a period less than 15 minutes.